It is said that a very long time ago, when the sky seemed much closer to the earth and the fragrance of kindness still lingered in the world, there was a small village where people lived together in harmony. They shared each other's joys and sorrows, and on moonlit nights, the village elders would gather everyone to tell wonderful stories. One day, in the old marketplace of that village, a mysterious shop appeared. No one had ever heard of it before, and no one had ever seen it. A wooden sign hung above its door with the words, "The Shop of Paradise." Beneath it was another message. Whoever tastes the sweetness sold here will never forget its flavor for the rest of their life. Naturally, everyone wondered, what was being sold inside this shop? What did those who bought from it receive? And was its sweetness truly brought from paradise? This is the story of a poor young man named Jake. Jake was the son of a humble shoemaker. His father had passed away years earlier, and his mother had been suffering from a long illness. He was the only one earning a living for the family. Every morning he woke before sunrise, walked to the marketplace, repaired torn shoes, earned a few coins, and returned home in the evening carrying bread and medicine for his mother. That was his entire life. He had no grand ambitions or extravagant dreams. He had only one wish, that his mother would recover. People often looked at Jake with pity. "Poor boy," they would whisper. "His father is gone, and soon he'll lose his mother too." But Jake never stretched out his hand to beg. His hands carried the strength of hard work, and despite all the exhaustion in his life, there was a strange light in his eyes that never faded. One afternoon, while walking through the marketplace, Jake noticed a large crowd gathered in one place. Some people were laughing. Others looked completely astonished. Many stood whispering among themselves. Curious, Jake pushed through the crowd. Before him stood a tiny shop that had never been there before. It had old stone walls, a weathered wooden door, and above it hung a faded cloth with beautifully embroidered words. "The Shop of Paradise." The villagers laughed. Some madman must have chosen this ridiculous name. One man joked. "He's probably here to fool innocent people," another said. The strange thing was, the shop's door was closed. No one had gone inside. Jake turned to an elderly man nearby. "Uncle," he asked politely, "when did this shop appear?" The old man stroked his white beard thoughtfully. "When I woke up this morning," he replied, "it was already here. Last night there was nothing at this spot." Jake was stunned. It wasn't here last night, and now it suddenly exists. How could that be? Unable to resist his curiosity, he walked to the door and knocked. Silence. No answer. He gently pushed the door. To his surprise, it slowly opened on its own. The moment Jake stepped inside, he froze. The room was filled with light. Yet there were no lamps, no candles, no windows. And still, the entire shop glowed with a warm, peaceful radiance. Along the walls stood old wooden shelves filled with dozens of tiny glass bottles. Each bottle contained something different. Some held a white powder, others glowed with golden crystals, some shimmered with a soft pink color, and a few appeared completely empty, though somehow they still seemed to hold something invisible. At the back of the shop sat an old man. He had a long white beard, peaceful eyes, and a small prayer bead tasbih resting in his hand. The old man smiled warmly as Jake entered. "I've been waiting for you, my son." Jake blinked in surprise. "Waiting? For me? But you don't even know who I am." The old man smiled again. "When someone asks with a sincere heart," he said gently, "they never need to introduce themselves. Come, "Sit down." Jake stepped closer and sat before him. His heart was filled with curiosity, a little fear, and an irresistible feeling pulling him toward this mysterious place. The old man asked softly, "So tell me, my son, what is it that you truly desire?" Jake lowered his eyes. "My mother is very ill. We've tried every medicine we could afford, but nothing helps. Sometimes I feel her illness isn't an ordinary one. I don't want wealth. I don't want power. I only want my mother's health." The old man looked deeply into Jake's eyes. Without
Really
saying
as
another
powerful as
word,
they say?
he stood
More
up,
than you can
walked to
possibly
one of the
imagine.
shelves, and carefully picked up a tiny white bottle. Inside was a fine white substance. It looked like sugar, but somehow it wasn't sugar. A beautiful fragrance drifted from the bottle. It smelled like blooming flowers, like fresh rain, and something even more wonderful that no words could truly describe. The old man handed the bottle to Jake. "Take this. Feed it to your mother." Then his expression became serious. "But remember, if you wish to take this sweetness, you must pay its price." Jake quickly reached into his pocket. The few coins he had were meant for his mother's medicine. He hesitated, then asked quietly, "What is the price?" The old man smiled gently. "My son, in the shop of paradise, we do not trade in gold or silver. The price here is paid in a very different way.